Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. In my latest poll, after a very tense head-to-head battle with Communist China, Poland won as the most requested country guide. So here we are, I'm finally ready to share with you my country guide for Poland, and let me tell you right away, I had never played Poland before and well, it was an amazing experience. Once again, I was surprised by how powerful we could become, especially considering our starting situation, which is not great. I would say as powerful as Germany, except we actually will be more powerful than Germany. If that sounds interesting, then this is the right video for you. Now, before we start, let me just say a couple of things. This strategy is very consistent, but as it often happens, there is a little bit of RNG involved. I will try to cover everything in the video, but if you have any doubts, feel free to ask. You can do so in the comment section, but I would also recommend joining our Discord to meet our amazing community. Also, remember that I always upload the unedited version for my guides. You can find it in the description of the video, together with the focus and research priorities. Finally, if you have been following the channel and enjoying my content, please do not forget to like the video and subscribe. It really helps more than you may think. Now that's really all for the introduction, so let's get ready to dominate as Poland. Okay, so I will not mention researches and focuses because you can find them in the description of the video. Unless you, of course, are watching the unedited version for this guide. Now, in terms of buildings, we are going for infrastructures followed by military factories in Katowice. Now, I'm so sorry for my Polish friends. If my German pronunciation was bad, my American pronunciation was probably right. But the Portuguese was more or less fine, I guess. I'm assuming that my Polish pronunciation will be terrible, so I apologize in advance. In terms of production, what we are doing is, first of all, we need to add the MIO. It's important not to forget this. And then we're going to set up our production for the upcoming months or years in the game. First of all, we assign 10 to infantry equipment, 5 to support equipment, and we get rid of these planes. And instead, we want to produce some towed RTA, some anti-air. I will assign 3 factories to it, some trains, 1 factory, and then everything else will go to artillery. I assign them 75 factories, then we'll adjust them a little bit later, but this is the basic production. Let me make sure that the recording is okay, yeah. Okay, next we are going to recruit some divisions, specifically 10 infantry divisions. And then we also need to take care of the armies we already have. We're going to split them around a little bit. So I want the mountaineers to be by themselves. We only have 2 divisions. The other ones, we will change all of them to the regular infantry, and then we will split them in half, so 2 groups of 19. And then we give them a marshal. The first guy here is pretty good, and we assign some generals. What I usually do is just go follow this order, though the first one is the panzer leader, so you may want to use a different one. He also has the best stats, however, so I'm usually using him for the first infantry, this guy for the second infantry, and this guy for the mountaineers. Later it will become the 3rd infantry. We can give them a fallback line somewhere here so they don't suffer from the lack of supplies, and then shift click here to train them all the way up to regular. And with this, actually our initial setup is already done. I usually make a save at this point, but in this case we didn't do that much, so it's not actually mandatory, and we can proceed at speed 5, because there isn't that much that we need to do in the very early game. But unlike my last guide, the Fascist United States guide or Democratic USA guide, in this case we will be quite active even in the early game. We'll be engaged in several wars, so this will be a more fun early game run. Now, as we complete our first focus, we get some political power, and we are going to use it right away to for the decision unification propaganda, which will increase the compliance in Danzig. Now, let me tell you right away something. In theory, at this point, you could also let the resistance increase to over 90% and let Danzig rebel. There will be a revolt in Danzig and you will need to conquer it. Now, the thing with that is, if you do it, and I will show you in a separate video. I might show that actually in a separate video dedicated to this specific event. If you do that, you can take Danzig and you can skip a couple of focuses and save some political power. On paper, that's great. What are the issues with that? Well, the main issue is... Well, the main issue is that actually it's not that easy to conquer Danzig. They will spawn with 3 highly trained units, and you have a river crossing, even if you go from this side, though it doesn't look like there is a river here. There will be a river crossing. It's difficult to take them down. There is a little bit of RNG, and if you don't take them down fast enough, they will join Germany, and you will be at war with Germany, which is basically a GG. The other issue with that is that if you conquer Danzig in this way, even if you're fast enough, they will keep having resistance and compliance despite being considered a core. So later on you will get that as a core, but they will still have resistance and compliance, which is again not great. But the main issue is doing it in time for Germany, and there is too much RNG involved in that for me to include it in this guide. So what we're going to do is we're going to peacefully take Danzig. Okay, another important thing. After you complete this focus, you will start getting candidates for the throne. We actually created the Regency Council, and from now on, several candidates will offer to rule the country. And those candidates will unlock, each one of them, one of these paths, one of these focus trees. The Augsburg, the whatever. Now, there is a secret path, which is what we're going for today, the Romanov path, which will allow us to get incredibly powerful. In order to unlock that path, you simply need to decline all of the other candidates until you get the Romanov one. And it will be the 8th one. It's scripted, it's not random, so you need to reject the first 7 candidates. I will not mention all of them, but I will show you as soon as we get the first relevant message. Now, once we get 75 political power, we will pick once again the decision unification propaganda. We need it twice in order to take peacefully Danzig. So we go for it again. We will ignore the other ones. We just do the first one. Okay, here we go. We completed the focus, but especially we got the first offer and the first candidate for the kingdom. And again, you need to decline all of them until you get Romanov. In the case of Poland, I prefer to go for dispersed industry because we will be bombed quite likely from the Soviet Union and Germany, since we don't have a very strong air force. So it's probably better than concentrated. Of course, as you can see, at this point of the run, we don't have an industry, we have pretty bad stability and war support, we don't have manpower, we don't have factories, so Poland doesn't start in the best possible spot. Just remember how we are doing now, and then you can compare it with how powerful we will be at the end of this run. At the end of this video tutorial, because yeah, we will not cover the entire one today. Another candidate that we're going to decline. And now we can pick the focus, ban the Nazi party, and that's why we needed the compliance in Danzig. This focus is also extremely important, and we need Danzig for it, because it allows us to get rid of embargoed economy, which is terrible. We actually get a very good export focus, so this is an absolute priority. Another candidate. Okay, as we get to 150 political power, we can finally use it for ourselves, and we're going to pick the noble bureaucrat for it. We get some additional political power, which is very useful, and also some fantastic stability. And in terms of infantry equipment, I would suggest this MIO priority that you can see right here. Let's also add the last two. You can join the anti-Comintern pact. It shouldn't make much of a difference, but later on Germany might accept our demands, and having better relations with them might help. Not entirely sure. They don't usually accept, to be honest. Okay, again, we got 150 political power. This time we are going to use it to switch from civilian economy to partial mobilization. Okay, we got 3 civilian factories. There is a bit of RNG here. I think it depends mostly on Danzig. Sometimes you get them a bit later. In any case, when you get them, you can build more military factories in Katowice and Warsaw. And you can then build infrastructures plus military factories in Kielce and Krakow. I'm really sorry about the pronunciation. Now, after completing this focus, we're going to wait for a few days because very soon we'll get Romanov as a potential candidate. So we don't want to pick a focus yet, and let's see what happens. There we go. Slightly later than usual, but it's usually within the 10 days of the focus. You get Anastasia Romanov as a potential candidate, and you will pick our king will be the last Romanov, probably. And as you can see, we get a terrible minus 20% stability, but we will get rid of that. In fact, it will be actually very good for our stability in the end. So first of all, let's pick Romanov as our king, or better, queen, I would say. This will also change our color. Now we are the Congressional Kingdom of Poland. And unfortunately, we lose the 10 days stored with the focus because it considered another focus to be completed. But it doesn't matter. In any case, our priority is to pick the invite exile nobility to compensate a bit for the stability we lost. Of course, we can start assigning and training the new divisions that we were recruiting. Okay, at 100 political power, we are going to pick the army defense expert. And if you hadn't done it before, it's time to build the military factories and infrastructures plus military factories. The hell is the rating? Okay, as you can see, with this focus completed, we got our stability back under control. And we can demand Lithuania. For what concerns the artillery MIO, I usually go for something like this. So this is the priority I would suggest. Okay, when you complete this focus, you will attempt to peacefully annex Lithuania, and in my experience they always accept, so I didn't even create an alternative strategy for when they don't accept. If they don't accept in your game, please let me know, and maybe send me the save, and we'll try to fix it together. But let's see what happens now. Of course, we'll wait for a few days for the next focus, because we need Lithuania to be annexed, and they accepted, so we just freely take Lithuania. Now, once Lithuania is annexed, we need to pick the divisions that they already had and change them all to infantry divisions. We're going to assign them to the 3rd army here. And then if you don't have a full 2nd army yet, it's a good time to force deploy the divisions which are still remaining and assign them. Then we can train all of them. It's important to have the divisions deployed because for the next focus we actually need 500,000 manpower in the field. And it will be very close. As you can see, we have 502,000. So we really need to deploy all of the divisions in order to pick this focus. At the same time, we're also going to pick the Professional Officer Corps. And we're going to change our occupation law to local police force and the garrison to the cavalry that Lithuania had, so the cheaper one, this one. Shortly after that, at 150 political power, we're going to pick limited conscription and partially fix our manpower issues. Okay, when you complete the demand Slovakia focus, Slovakia, or better the Czech Republic, always accepts, at least in my experience. So you get part of Czechoslovakia for free. You don't get all of them, but you get this eastern part of Czechoslovakia. Now, again, let me know in the comments if it happens that they refuse. It never happened to me, but what I think you can do is, if they refuse, you can probably just annex them militarily. The only thing you need to pay attention to is we don't want to have generated more than 10% war tension. At the moment we haven't generated any, but if you attack Czechoslovakia, you need to make sure, especially in the peace conference, that you do not generate actually more than 6%. Or wait, let me think. We need 6% for Hungary, so you need not to have generated more than 4% of the war tension. So you need to be careful about that. So probably you cannot take all of Czechoslovakia, but you can take militarily this eastern part if they don't accept it. But again, in all of my test runs, and I had many test runs, they always accepted the peaceful annexation. Okay, as soon as we complete this research, we need to make some adjustments. First of all, to the production, we are going to decrease the production of infantry equipment to 6 and increase the production of support equipment to 9. Right now, you see we have an abundance of it, but very soon we will need all of them. We're also going to start producing some trucks, specifically 3 of them. And then we want these factories to be assigned to these higher priority things. So it should look, your production should look like this by the time you've finished adjusting it. Of course, remember to adjust the trade as well. We're also going to take this chance to gather our planes. We're also going to use this chance to gather our planes and train them to regular. I usually also like to merge them to make sure we have at least 2 full divisions. As for what concerns the motorized MIOs, I would suggest this priority that you can see here. Okay, as we complete this focus, we are going to start fabricating a claim on Hungary. And as we get to 150 political power, we are going to pick the autocratic archbishop for a very nice 15% extra stability. We're going to need all of the extra stability because once we start our offensive wars, we need to be above 50% stability. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble at risk of strikes, which are very, very, very annoying. And we're also using this chance to make some adjustments to our infantry. I will change them to our offensive infantry. Increase the priority of the equipment. And especially, we are going to add all of the support companies we have available. That's why we needed all of that support equipment. As you can see, this is fairly expensive, but especially it will require a lot of support equipment. But it will also make this company, but it will also make this division very... or better. But it will also make this template very good. Now we're also going to start positioning our armies for the upcoming wars. And for that we also want to assign the traits, if we have any available. We want to increase the motorization priority to maximum. And I also like to aggressively execute battle plans. Now, the first army will be taking care of Latvia and Estonia. So we send the first army to the north. Let me do this a bit better. I use in this case a spearhead. We want to take care of Latvia and Estonia as fast as possible. The second army will be at the border with Hungary. And in this case I use an offensive line against Hungary. And the third army, the smaller one, for this one we are going to use a fullback line. We're going to use a fullback line from here all the way here. Careful because the positioning here is quite important. The reason we don't want to be at this border with Romania is that actually they have supplies in here and we don't have supplies. We are very far from the supply hub. But if we let them advance all the way to here, then they will be out of supplies and we will have supplies. So it's much better for us to position our defenses up here. And we don't need to go all the way here because there will be the second army taking care of this place. Now, this army will struggle a little bit against Romania later on. So I will show you what to do and how to manage them. We also want to position our planes, which should be trained by this point, and I would suggest again positioning them in eastern Poland, since that's the part where we will struggle the most. And for now, we can just continue. Let's also make sure to train our divisions as soon as the new equipment starts kicking in. We want them to be all fully trained. Okay, now Yugoslavia accepted. This is the most RNG heavy part of the run. Sometimes Yugoslavia accepts, sometimes Yugoslavia refuses. I would say that's about a 50-50 in terms of accepting or refusing. Now, I usually prefer when Yugoslavia refuses. It makes this part of the war a bit more challenging, but we get to annex or to puppet Romania as well. If Yugoslavia accepts, we get Yugoslavia for free, but we don't get Romania. Now, I will show you both runs, so we will get up to the point where we start the war against the Balkans, and then I will load a save, which I already prepared, in which Yugoslavia refused, to show you exactly what to do when Yugoslavia refuses. And I think we will continue that run, because it's the more challenging one, so it's also the better one to cover in the guide. So for now, we just get Yugoslavia for free, and that's very good. Extra factories, extra everything. And once we complete this focus, we also get claims on Latvia and Estonia. So at this point, we would be ready for our wars, but I want our stability to be, even a bit higher. But I want our stability to be a bit higher than it is right now. So we are going to wait for Claim Russia, this focus, which will give us a lot of stability, before we start this series of wars. We're not particularly in a hurry, so we can afford to wait. Of course, taking Yugoslavia peacefully and early means we cannot take Romania, but at the same time we get factories earlier on. It boosts our economy, and the wars here will be much easier, so we will actually consume less equipment. So in the end, it's probably slightly better when Yugoslavia accepts peacefully, but I still prefer the other one. It's more fun, it's more challenging, so that's why we are going to wait. We got the claim on Hungary, but as I mentioned, we are going to wait until we get the focus before we start this series of wars. Now, if you get free civilian factories now, or in the other way, if Yugoslavia refused, whenever you get them, build more military factories in the 80% plus provinces. Right now we only have one in Lithuania, but later on we will have some in Latvia, Estonia, and Hungary as well. So we keep building military factories in the 80% plus provinces. Okay, now we got our claim Russia focus completed. At this point, it's time to start our wars. But as I mentioned, we have two options here. When Yugoslavia accepts, you declare war on Hungary, Latvia, and Estonia at the same time. When Yugoslavia refuses, you declare war on Yugoslavia, which will call Romania, Hungary, Latvia, and Estonia at the same time. It's important to do everything at the same time so that nobody guarantees, nobody gets in our way. Now, if Yugoslavia accepts, we will need to do something else in addition to that. And it's something a little bit tricky, but I'm actually excited to be able to show it to you. So let's do it. We declare war on Hungary, we declare war on Latvia, and we declare war on Estonia. But what we want to do now, well, we can continue with the focuses normally, but what we want to do now is we want to pick war economy, because this is very good. As you can see, however, we cannot pick war economy yet, because we need an enemy country to have more than 40% of the total number of factories that we have. And Hungary, Latvia, and Estonia do not have enough factories. So what we're going to do now is a bit tricky. We are not going to attack Hungary at all. We are just going to let them push into Yugoslavia until they get enough factories for us to be able to pick this war economy. And it shouldn't take very long, actually. They just need a few more factories. And let's see if we are there. Not yet. Okay, now they got the capital of Yugoslavia, and so as you can see, now we are able to pick war economy, which is fantastic. This is totally worth it. So we're going to pick war economy, but that's not all. We also want to pick extensive conscription, and again, we're able to do that because Hungary, Latvia, and Estonia together have enough divisions. However, if we attack them, we risk not being able to pick this anymore. So before starting the war, we're actually going to wait for a little bit longer until we have enough political power to pick extensive conscription. And we will let them take all of Yugoslavia. It doesn't really matter. Actually, it's going to make it easier, because while their units are down there, we can easily take the northern part, which is the core part of Hungary. Okay, 150 political power, so we're going to pick extensive conscription, and now we can finally attack them. So we can start our offensives at the same time. Actually, now we can use the planes in here. And slow down the speed a little bit, but actually this war is very, very easy, so... Yeah, since Hungary sent most of their divisions down there, they actually don't have them to defend the mainland, and that's pretty bad. So Hungary will go down incredibly fast, and you can puppet them. And now we only need to take care of Estonia and Latvia, which are also very, very easy. It will not take long. Oh, okay, by the way, meanwhile, we also picked the focus demand Pomerania, and in this case, Germany refused. In my experience, this is maybe a 60% refuse, 40% accept. Sometimes they accept, which is quite interesting, because Germany gives you this entire region here, and all the way to Stettin here, all this area here as well, which is quite crazy, to be honest. So I usually prefer when they refuse, actually. It makes it a bit more realistic. But in any case, we don't care. The only reason we pick this focus is to go down to proclaim Slavic unity, which we will need later on. Then, of course, if Germany accepts, that's even better.
We are resolved that the method of consultation shall be the method adopted to deal with any other questions that may concern our country. And we are determined.
Okay, Latvia is down. We puppet them too.
Wycofują się! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Gotów! Szeregu! Zbiórka!
Again, as you can see on free military factories, you can use them in the 80% plus territories, including your puppets.
Tak jest! Kontynuować natarcie!
Okay, and Estonia is down as well, so we are done with our early wars. Going to puppet them as well. And that's it, we are done with the wars. We got Yugoslavia, we got Hungary, we got Latvia, and we got Estonia. Now, I really want to show you the alternative, so what to do when Yugoslavia refuses, because that's, again, a bit more challenging. So let me load a save in which they are going to refuse, or they actually refused. The rest of the run is the same, so it's only a matter of these wars. So here it's the same exact time, so just before we started the war, the wars in the Balkans. But in this case, Yugoslavia refused, which means we got a claim on Yugoslavia. Okay, so we declare war on all of them at the same time, including Yugoslavia, and that will mean also Romania. And we can immediately pick war economy this time, because we have Yugoslavia and Romania against us. Also, we have less factories since we didn't take Yugoslavia for free. The war will be a lot tougher in this case, but that's actually good because we also build a lot more army experience, which is nice to have. Okay, what we're going to do in this case is we are going to start the northern offensive first. So we want to take care of Latvia first of all. And we want to keep an eye on the fullback line here because they may be under pressure at some point. Against Hungary, I wouldn't start the main push yet, but you can start taking some of these territories. For example, this one is easy to get. We can push a little bit more in here. So you can start pushing them a little bit, but I wouldn't start the full offensive yet.
Watchnos!
And here you don't really need to micromanage, but if you do, it may be slightly faster to take them down.
Odmarszować!
Yeah, that's not great because wounded lasts for a long time. So I guess in this case we are going to change the general. What I usually do is when they get wounded, I actually change them to someone else. Who is good here? Guess this guy's not terrible. Yeah, this guy's pretty good. Let's give it to him. Don't particularly love this, but... Okay, once Romania push to all the way to the... Well, once Romania gets all the way to the fallback line, you can delete the fallback line and create a proper front line here. You can even give them an offensive line, but they will not be able to push anytime soon. And you need to keep an eye on them because Romania will be able to push us a little bit in there. Meanwhile, here I think we can advance a little bit more. Okay, Latvia is down. Same thing as before, we puppet them. And we immediately go after Estonia. And as you can see now, Romania is actually pushing into us, so I would suggest using some last stand abilities from time to time here. If you can prevent them from pushing, it's better. If they push a little bit, it's not a big deal, but... Oh, we took Budapest. It's very nice.
Dowódco, wycofują się! Odmaszerować! Szeregu, zbiórka! Gotów!
And we got Estonia. Now we can start focusing a bit more on Hungary. So we take the army that we assigned to the north and we send them all the way to Hungary. And at this point I like to use a spearhead to cut into Yugoslavia as fast as possible. Ideally we want to take Novi Sad because they have a supply hub in here, and this part here because it's a bit easier to push from here than it is from here with all these rivers.
Kontynuować natarcie!
We're going to wait for this army, and then we're going to start a push with both armies at the same time, and we're also going to switch planes from this area to this area to make sure that the push is a bit easier.
Szeregu! Zbiórka! Kontynuować natarcie! Oddział, stój! Baczność! Gotów!
Okay, we are basically ready to push, but I also want to wait for 100 political power, because at 100 political power we can pick the infantry expert, which will give us some nice attack and defense bonus, so it's going to be beneficial. And I would say that now we can start the push in here, and we can assign the planes here too. We'll start both pushes to keep them under as much pressure as possible. There's still some river crossing here, so it's not extremely easy.
Baczność! Baczność!
And I would actually recommend pushing into Yugoslavia as fast as possible before they actually get ready for it. Because Yugoslavia has a fairly big army, and if they get in position, then they will be a bit annoying to push.
Tak jest!
So our Prime Minister has come back from his third and greatest journey.
Tak jest!
And he said that the settlement of the Czechoslovakian problem, which has now been achieved, is, in my view, only the prelude to a larger settlement in which all Europe may find peace.
Biegiem, biegiem, biegiem!
This morning,
Odmaszerować!
I had another talk with the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler.
Okay, and Hungary is down, so we can easily puppet them.
As well as mine.
And now we need to take care of Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia is the next target. I find them to be a bit easier than Romania to take down at this point.
We, the German Führer and
Pod
Chancellor,
ostrzałem!
and the British Prime Minister have had a further meeting today and are agreed in recognizing that the question of Anglo-German relations is of the first importance for the two countries and for Europe.
Za mną! Marsz!
We regard the agreement signed last night and the Anglo-German naval agreement as symbolic of the desire of...
And I would do something like this. I would use the first army to push into Yugoslavia, the second army to push a bit more into Romania. If we extend the front with Yugoslavia, they will struggle to keep up with it. And also we relieve some of the pressure from the northern front in this way. If you get free civilian factories, keep building in the 80% plus provinces, including your puppets, like in this case. And we can continue.
Gotów!
forces of difference and thus to contribute to assure the peace of Europe.
Okay, and the Germans refused in this case to give us land, but that's okay. it will make the second half of this run a bit more challenging when we fight the German Reich. But at the same time, it will also give us a great chance for encirclements against this part of Germany, so I won't complain.
Wycofują się!
By the way, you may have noticed that Hungary, just before capitulating, joined the Axis. And luckily we capitulated them fast enough not to be able to call the German Reich. But that happens because I reloaded the game. In HOI4, unfortunately, reloading the game triggers some events which would not otherwise happen. So it's usually better never to reload the game if you can avoid that. But I really wanted to show you this potential outcome of the war as well. So I think in this case it was worth doing it. Okay, here we need to reassign them a little bit because they are pushing in a stupid way. So I'll actually use an offensive line this time. Still want to push here. And remember, it's okay if you struggle a little bit with this war. It's fine. We are not particularly in a hurry, and we are building a lot. We are building up a lot of army experience, which will be very convenient later on. So nothing to worry about. Whenever you see an opening, try to get it. Like in this case, I can tell that they don't have divisions in here, so we can expand a little bit on this side. And remember that the larger the front, the better it is for us, because we actually have more divisions.
Wycofują się! Tak jest! Gotów! Tak jest! Łączność!
We got a fantastic encirclement in here, actually. It's going to be very beneficial for us. I must say the war is going better than usual. Sometimes it takes a bit longer. We're starting to struggle a bit with these armies. I will stop this push.
Baczność! Tak jest! Tak jest! Odmaszerować! Odmaszerować! Gotów!
The only problem is our generals keep getting wounded, so I replaced another one. But other than that, going pretty well. And Yugoslavia should be fairly close to capitulating.
Baczność! Gotów! Kryjemy się! Kontynuować natarcie! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Tak jest!
Okay, when Germany demands Memel, we just accept.
Baczność! 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 Tak jest!
They did take back Cluj in the end. That's not nice. Yugoslavia will go down. Now, with Yugoslavia, it's very important that you Balkanize them. We actually prefer to have Yugoslavia Balkanized because in that way, the German Reich will not get a claim on them. So this is quite important. So just puppet all of the small puppets available in Yugoslavia rather than puppeting all of Yugoslavia at once. We're also going to take their navy and, well, that was a mistake. This bug! I hate this bug! Yeah, because now I cannot take the resources and war operations. That's so annoying. I really need to fix this shit. Okay. And I will reload because it's quite important to pick the war reparations and resource rights. Hopefully it was not too long ago. It was actually quite a long time ago. Fuck this shit. Okay. That's okay. Sure.
Tak jest! Tak jest! Baczność! Tak jest! Baczność! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Baczność! Baczność! Odmaszerować! Tak jest! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Szeregu! Zbiórka!
The certain thing is he keeps getting wounded. That part remains consistent.
Szeregu! Zbiórka! Baczność! 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 Odmaszerować! Odmaszerować! Biegiem, biegiem, biegiem! Mocność!
Okay, Yugoslavia is down. Now, against Yugoslavia, it's important that you puppet them one by one instead of making just one big puppet. This is usually called balkanizing, and in the case of Yugoslavia, the name is perfect. So you balkanize them, you puppet all of the smaller ones. You take war reparations and resource rights from all of them. Make sure that you got everything, and then you take the navy as well. And that's Yugoslavia balkanized. Now, why is it important to balkanize them? It's important because in this way, Germany will not get a claim on them. Otherwise, later on in the run, Germany will get a claim on Yugoslavia, they will attack them, and if they are your puppet, you will be at war with Germany. You may not want to do that. The other thing that may happen later on is Italy may demand Dalmatia. And if they do, I suggest you just give them Dalmatia. It's okay. And avoid further trouble. Usually they don't attack you if you refuse. But, you know, just in case, just accept. We don't particularly need Dalmatia. Make the Italians happy. Okay, now, with the army that was taking care of Yugoslavia, we can now push in southern Romania. They will not be ready for this, so now taking down Romania will be a lot easier. So let's just get ready for that. Before we take down Romania, however, it's very important that we take extensive conscription. So the timing is more or less right. As soon as we get to 150 political power, we go for extensive conscription, and then we can easily end the war. Okay, 150 political power, we go for extensive conscription, and we also make some adjustments to the production. We reduce the production of support equipment to 6. Okay, and I would say we can start all of the pushes at the same time into Romania. Now we want to take them down as fast as possible. Once you get the initial breakthrough in here, then they will just go down.
Ruszam się! Odmaszerować! Kontynuować natarcie! Tak jest! Kontynuować natarcie! Kontynuować natarcie! Baczność! Gotów! Baczność! Baczność! Ruszać się! Kontynuować natarcie! Odmaszerować!
Okay, and Romania is finally down. In the case of Romania, there is no need to separate the puppets. You can just puppet all of Romania at once. Resource rights, war operations, and the navy. And we are done with Romania. And that means we're also done with the wars in the Balkans, the early expansion for Poland. Now, since I showed you both versions, you can compare how much easier the other one was. Now it's much later in the game. But in addition to Balkanized Yugoslavia, Hungary, Latvia and Estonia, we also got Romania, which is pretty nice. At this point, we can send all of our divisions back in position around here, in the training position. You can train them if you want, but I think they should probably be already trained thanks to the field hospital. Actually, we don't take that many casualties, so you probably will be fine the way it is. And now we can continue at speed 5 because we will not have that much to do in the near future. By the way, the UK is now guaranteeing our independence, which will be convenient a bit later in the game. If you get free civilian factories, I suggest again you build in 100% and 80% provinces, including your subjects, including Romania at this point, and Yugoslavia too. Okay, at 150 political power, we are going to pick the staunch aristocrat. This guy here, which gives us a minus 20% consumer good factories. That's very, very good. And at the same time, we are going to create an agency. And as soon as we get the first spy, we're going to start spying on the Soviet Union. So we keep getting the upgrades for the agency, up to 2 spies, and we assign them to the Soviet Union. Okay, if you keep getting civilian factories and you're already built in all of the 80% plus provinces, it's time to prepare for the Soviet Union. So we're going to build infrastructures followed by military factories at the border with the Soviet Union, but only in the core territories, so not in Romania, not in Estonia and Lithuania. So the construction list should look something like this. Okay, we got our first spy. We are lucky. We have a seducer. Let's send her to Vladivostok. That's usually where I prefer to spy the Soviet Union because it's less likely to get caught. And then we keep upgrading the branches here. It's up to you. I prefer to upgrade all of the departments here, and then I put one in anti-partisan. But if you prefer something else, go for it. Just keep in mind that I would keep upgrading only the 5 civilian factories cost ones. Okay, at 100 political power, we are going to pick the ground support expert to start getting some air experience. And we're going to make some adjustments to our offensive template. The main adjustments is we're going to add a lot of artillery. So we bring the combat width to 30 by adding 4 artillery battalions. We're also going to start recruiting enough to make 3 full armies. It should be 13 unless you lost some in the war. And then we're going to create some defensive infantry. I would suggest using one of the puppet templates because we want a combat width of 10 or 12, up to you. And then we want the engineer company and the support anti-air for them. We're going to call them DEF. And we're going to recruit 48 of them. Sometimes you can only recruit 47, but and then you need to add one more later. But ideally we want 48 defensive divisions.
Szeregu! Zbiórka!
Okay, Danzig or war time? And the answer is Danzig. So we're just going to give the Germans Danzig and we're going to be happy. Naturally, we made Poland quite strong at this point, so if you feel up to the challenge, you can fight the German Reich right away. But since I want to give you the most consistent and also easiest path to success, in my opinion, it's just better to make a deal with Germany, give them the land they want, and continue developing what we have. Now, at the same time, the Soviet Union will start justifying a war goal on us. It's important to check the timing in this case. Let's see when they will complete it. So it is in January 1940. This is not always the same. I think it depends on the war tension, mostly. Sometimes it's a bit later, in March. But that's alright. January 1940, we can work with that, so that's okay. We're going to prepare for the Soviet Union. By the way, we can also merge all of our fleets into one. Okay, at this point you get two options, and I would like to, and I would suggest avoiding this one because you don't really want that daily fascism support. So take the opinion with the Soviet Union. It's going to be completely useless, but at least it's not damaging. And as soon as you complete this focus, remember to adjust trade because now you have a lot of steel, so you probably don't need to import it anymore. Meanwhile, World War II started, but not for us. So for now, we don't care about what happens.
This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note, stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany. You can imagine what a bitter blow.
Okay, at 150 political power, we're going to replace one of our advisors. We want to replace the noble bureaucrat with the elusive gentleman. We don't need the extra political power anymore, we have plenty of stability, but we want an additional spy. I would say this is optional, but I would suggest doing so.
It would have been quite possible to have arranged a peaceful and honorable settlement between Germany.
We're also going to force deploy and train everything. I mean, I don't have anything ready for deployment. I do.
Whatever happened. And although he now says forward reasonable proposals which were rejected by
So at this point, we should have a full army of 5, or full theater of 5 armies. Use the generals with the best defensive stats for the defensive armies. So Roman Abram is actually very good, so we are going to keep him for one of the main armies instead. Can do pretty well on this one. Yeah, and I already like this guy more than the other one, so this is perfect. Of course, remember to train all of them.
And we in France are today, in fulfillment of our obligations, going to the aid of Poland, who is so bravely resisting this wicked and unprovoked attack upon her people.
And we're going to position them for the upcoming war. So what we want to do is we want our armies to be ready for the Soviet Union, but we will also need to defend the coastline from potential naval invasions from the Soviet Union. Now, if Germany accepted and gave you land, you will need to defend a lot more. If they refused, like in this case, you only need to defend this place, which is fairly simple. You can just ask Hungary to give you some divisions, and you can use your puppet divisions to protect the coastline. So that's what we're going to do in this case. Just to be safe, we're also going to take some additional divisions, maybe a total of 10. No, to be extra safe. Protecting the coast, and we can actually train them too, because the war is not going to start right away. Then the first offensive army will go to the northern part of the border against the Soviets, and I would use a spearhead with them to go and take this area here. The idea is to take the supply hubs. Always take the supply hubs first against the Soviet Union. Our second army will be positioned in the south, and the goal here is to take Kiev. So we're going to push into modern-day Ukraine. Something like this. And the third main army, which, by the way, we're going to switch entirely to offensive. So we get rid of the mountaineers. We'll take care of the central part of the front. And in this case, I use an offensive line to push for this area here. Then we have the defensive armies, which will be split and will cover the entire front. One to the northern front and one to the southern front. We want the entire front to be covered as well as possible. And then the planes, we don't have many, and they will probably not make much of a difference against the Soviets, but you can assign them all to the main offensive army. And we can continue. And France is already down. No surprises. Okay, as we get our second spy, we should have enough network to switch to Quiet Intel network and start preparing the first collaboration government in the Soviet Union. Okay, as we get the third spy, we can also assign the third spy to Quiet Intel network in the Soviet Union. If you press the repeat on the collaboration government, they will automatically repeat once the first one is ready. At this point, I would also recommend changing the priority for operations to maximum, because we want the collaboration government to happen as fast as possible. And the last thing we're going to do at this point is we're going to upgrade the supply hubs, at least the railways of the supply hubs for the divisions closer to the front. And we're going to prioritize the railways over military factories. Okay, we are basically only waiting for the war with the Soviets to start. We let them attack us for a couple of reasons, because we have a claim on the Soviet Union, so we could attack them anytime. But it's better if they attack us, first of all, because defensive wars give less penalties, and secondly, because if they attack us, the United Kingdom guaranteed us, and so the United Kingdom will join our war. Now, we will not actually call the United Kingdom, or better, will not give them military access, so they will not be able to actually help us militarily, but sometimes they send planes, which do help quite a bit against the Soviet Union. And if you're really struggling, you can call them into the war to get some additional help. On the 11th of January, the Soviet Union will declare war on us. And we should be almost done with the training. Yeah, this army still requires a little bit, but we're basically done. Okay, and there we go. So the Soviet Union declared war on us. Now, this happened, and this shouldn't happen. So that the fact that Finland joined the Allies, this only happened because I reloaded the save. Technically, the Soviet Union and Finland should find their own agreements, and that war should not be ongoing. That's okay though, it doesn't change very much, so that's totally fine. I'd like to wait for them to be fully trained. Perfect, now we got everything ready for the Soviet Union. So the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to pick the military theorist. By the way, as you can see, the Soviet Union is actually quite scared of us, so they declare war on us, but they are not attacking. And we're going to pick the doctrines. Now, doctrines are up to you, naturally. One thing that I would suggest, however, is if you had the easy war, so Yugoslavia accepted, you will probably not have a lot of army experience, in which case I would suggest going for superior firepower, because you get the best doctrines, the best perks right here. But if you have a lot of army experience, like in our case, I find actually Grand Battle Plan to work amazingly, especially once you unlock the Night Assault tactics. That land a night attack plus 25% is quite crazy, so going down this path is actually convenient in our case, I think. So we're going to unlock as many of these doctrines as possible. And that's already quite a lot. We're going to wait a little bit for the spirit, but logistical focus is another fantastic spirit. We're going to pick the tactic, the well-planned attack tactic, and we're also going to give it to our generals and marshals. We're also going to pick war bonds because they are amazing. And we're going to make some adjustments to the production. We are likely to need more anti-air and support equipment. So at this point, what I would suggest doing is set 10 to anti-air. We give 25 to the artillery. That's actually wrong, okay. And the rest goes entirely to infantry equipment. We're also going to need a lot of infantry equipment. And naturally, you can adjust it a little bit different if you prefer, but I find this to be quite optimal. Okay, first thing that we're going to do against the Soviets is we want to take Minsk because it has a supply hub. So we're going to try to push for Minsk. And I would do it manually in this case.
Gotówka!
By the way, in the meantime, you can also pick aircrew surveys and centralized control for the air doctrines, and once you unlock them, you can go down battlefield support, yeah, which is my favorite, or whichever your favorite is. And I think we can start pushing in the south too. You could wait a little bit longer because February is still pretty much winter, actually the coldest month. As you can see, it's full of snow, but yeah, we can ignore that, you know. We have very good divisions. It's quite fun to see how much we push the Soviet Union. To be honest, fairly unexpected to see Poland pushing into the Soviet Union like this. This is not how I remember it, right? But well, our Poland is very strong. Can we get some music or something here? Come on. As you keep unlocking the doctrines, try to rush down to this one as fast as possible. And of course, each push will be a little bit easier than the previous one against the Soviet Union.
Baczność!
Okay, I think we can stop with this first push, which by the way was very successful. We're very happy with how it went. We can prepare the next one. With the Northern Army, I usually try to go straight for Moscow, but to do that we need to still take some supply hubs on the way. So ideally first these ones, and then these ones, and then Moscow. Yeah, something like this should work. Southern Army did an amazing job. And they can now start pushing down to Odessa. And the Central Army struggled a little bit, but that's okay.
Rozkazy? Tak jest!
Okay, they captured one of our agents with the first collaboration government, but the good news is we only want 2 collaboration governments in the Soviet Union, so we only need 2 spies, so we can start the second collaboration government right away and ignore our spy who got caught. As for planes, we are not going to use them right away, but this is the MIO priority that I would suggest.
Gotów!
Now this looks like a lovely encirclement. Unfortunately, without tanks, getting the encirclements is not as easy, so it's a bit more tricky. We are fine with just pushing against the Soviets.
Szeregu! Zbiórka!
And we're going to do that right away.
Szeregu! Zbiórka! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Baczność! Gotów! Biegiem, biegiem, biegiem! Dowódco, wycofują się! Dowódco, wycofują się! Tak jest! Wycofać się! Baczność! Tak jest!
Central part is always the most difficult to push. There are some reavers as well, so it's a bit annoying. While the southern part is usually the easiest.
Tak jest! Tak jest! Gotów! Baczność! Baczność!
But here we got a very, very nice encirclement. They have a lot of divisions.
Szeregu! Zbiórka! Tak jest!
And they are dying. Let's readjust them a little bit here.
Baczność! Baczność! Szeregu! Zbiórka!
Very beneficial trade for Sweden, since thanks to it I will import less stuff from Sweden.
Szeregu! Zbiórka!
Okay, let's go for another push here in the north. The idea is to get closer to Moscow.
Baczność! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Szeregu! Zbiórka!
Now, after we get to Crimea, it's better to have another puppet army to take care of Crimea, and I can see that Romania has a lot of divisions, so let's take some from Romania, which we're going to use in there. By the way, you could use your puppets even a bit more than how I'm doing it. You can get quite a lot of divisions from all of the puppets combined, so you can have even an additional army. I don't like to use puppet armies. Ah, by the way, look at them. They are trying to invade us right now with the naval invasion, and that's where our puppets come into play. They will easily defend the area. So I don't like to use puppets too much because that will give autonomy to these puppets, and we don't want that. In fact, on the contrary, we want to reduce their autonomy as soon as possible, because that will mean a lot more factories for us. Now let's see if by going from this side we can be a bit more successful with the central army. And I would also really love them to stop trying to attack in a place where I did not tell them to attack. Stop, idiots. Okay, now they keep attacking there. Okay, so that means I didn't do it well. let me do it again. This way you will again push where I don't want you to push, so do it like this. Okay. Now these guys are a bit too spread right now, so we need to adjust them a little bit. Still be fine. Oh, okay, we are getting to Crimea. We can start sending the puppets there. Yeah, they usually have a bit less divisions in Crimea, so they're giving me a few more problems than usual. Okay, and we can finally take land knight attack now. This is going to be massive. Oh, Finland is going down. That's actually not too bad. Okay. Why was the German... Ah, because they joined the Allies. Okay, okay. Well, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Oh, come on. Please. Then fuck it. And we can start going for Moscow. Okay, at 150 political power, we can pick the industrial concern.
Yes. Kontynuować natarcie!
Okay, finally took care of Crimea.
Baczność! Gotów!
And that was a bit of a fuck up.
Gotów! Gotów! Pod ostrzałem! Gotów!
I think we can easily get an encirclement here, though. Nice.
Baczność! 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 Gotów!
And we can probably go with them too. Why don't we have supplies in here? No, because we don't have the raid width. That's not cool.
Szeregu! Zbiórka!
We will not get them until we get to Moscow, unless we build them. Maybe the best thing to do.
Gotów!
Now, despite the amazing potential for encirclement that I see here, I think we can rush Stalingrad, because actually, if we get Stalingrad, then we'll have everything we need to complete this thing. Except that we also need Moscow, but we're very close to Moscow, so Moscow we will get easily. Let's also get Stalingrad,
Zbiórka!
so we can get that amazing focus.
Szeregu! Zbiórka! Tak jest!
They are not ready, our divisions are very good, and now with the doctrines, we just destroy the Soviet Union. Look at this, and this is without any air superiority. We actually don't have an aviation, basically. And we just destroy them. The doctrines, these templates, it's fairly amazing, to be honest. Now, when you get free civilian factories, you can build more military factories in all of the 180% provinces, like including your puppets, of course. And we have some more here. And then after you're done with these, I would suggest building infrastructures and military factories at the border with Germany, because of course Germany will be one of the upcoming opponents in our run. And actually we need them here too. And then as soon as you can, you should also pick the logistical focus, because that's a very nice spirit, especially when fighting the Soviet Union. Low supplies areas, always nice to have extra supplies. Oh, another attempt for a naval invasion, which will miserably fail. And Moscow is about to fall. We are very close to Stalingrad, so I think our next focus will already be, that's quite amazing, the Slavic unity. This is an insane focus, of course, because as you can see down there, we will be known as the Slavic Union, and we will be coring 182 other provinces in addition to those ones. And that's not only all of the Soviet Union, all of Poland, it's also most of the stuff in here. So Yugoslavia is our core as well. It's absolutely insane. The only reason we prefer to have Yugoslavia as a puppet right now is for the war against the Germans. But later on we can easily annex them and they will be our cores. And we still don't have supplies in here. It will take a while. And here I would say we can probably try to rush Stalingrad. Okay, we got Stalingrad. We don't have Moscow because this guys decided that it was a very good idea to just leave that part of the front to our enemies. Great job, but we can easily take it back. And it's probably a good time to check the surrender situation. We will need to take a few more victory points. By the way, look at the casualties. We're pushing with the infantry, so of course we cannot expect very low casualties, but with Poland, 135,000 casualties, and we caused them 1.4 million. Yeah, 200,000 is from Finland, but still, it's absolutely amazing. So I think we will need to get all the way to Baku and possibly, we don't have Moscow though yet, and possibly Leningrad as well, but that's okay. So with these guys, let's prepare an offensive to the south. This time maybe not a spearhead, a more ordered push. And in this way we can also free some of these defensive units which are covering a very large front at the moment. Something more like this. Probably be better as we attempt to take back Moscow. Which was not very difficult. Okay, now we can plan something with them as well. Now from here we can go several ways, but I would like to take Yaroslav, so let's do something like this. Broad front line this time, we go for a push in the north. It would be nice to take this place. I wonder if we can do it with the defensive infantry. It's probably not the best, but try. Soviet Union is actually going down pretty fast at this point. And we completed the focus, which means we can now take Proclaim Slavic Unity. Sometimes you can take it a bit later. If you're following my spreadsheet, you can find all of the information there. But this focus has the absolute priority. So whenever you can, you should definitely take it. And we can push here for sure. I think we can probably push here as well. Let's see if we can take that first. Okay, we got it too. Very nice. Well, the Soviet Union is in big trouble right now, pushing them everywhere, very smoothly. Capitulation, well, still not very close, but we have a collaboration government coming in 38 days, so should be fine. And we are advancing quickly in the direction of Leningrad as well. Let's see if we can rush Leningrad. That would be nice. I'm not sure we can, but worth a try. We're starting to run a bit low on manpower though. But you know, our manpower problems will be solved in about 40 days. I'd actually like these guys not to push up there. I want you to push only down here, please. Hopefully they can cover this front. Yeah, they can easily cover this front. Ooh, they have a lot of divisions in there. Okay, that's probably not going to happen. The situation, 17 days to the collaboration government, and I'm pretty sure it will do it. We could probably even stop pushing at this point. I'm pretty sure the collaboration government is enough. Oh, let's take the last war bonds, since we can, before the war is over. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 day left. And that's it, boys. The Soviet Union is down. It was Poland who took them down. And that's quite insane. So, what do we do now? Well, now we annex the Soviet Union. The only annoying part here is that we share some of the war score with Finland, because they were part of this war. They shouldn't have been part of this war. I think we still have enough for everything we need, but let's see. It will just be a bit more annoying to do the peace conference, I think. I don't think Finland will actually ask for anything, so... Yeah, Finland doesn't ask for anything. It's just going to be annoying. Okay, for Mongolia we don't have cores, so we're going to puppet Mongolia. Same for this other place here, with resource rights and war reparation. Usual stuff, you already know. And then we take the Soviet Navy. Not a great navy, but better than nothing. And as you can see, even with Finland stealing some of the war score, we had plenty to annex everything we needed, especially considering they are cores. Well, not yet actually, because we still need 20 days, and then they will all they will all be cores. Now, this part of the tutorial is over. Of course, the next challenge is going to be Poland versus the German Reich. Look at us at the moment, but let's wait until we get the focus done, of course, because I want to show you the outcome, the results of this focus. But now we can maybe start preparing our divisions a bit more into inner Poland. Let's see if we had any casualties. Anyone without full experience? No, not for them. Yes, a bit for these ones, because they didn't have the field hospitals. But overall, this was absolutely amazing. Oh no, Cuba. Guys, if you watch my fascist USA world conquest, you know that Cuba was not good. Yeah, okay, people are not very happy about what we did, but that's okay. You know, one thing that is very annoying, however, about this run is that now Finland will get destroyed by the German Reich, which means we will border the German Reich in here, which I don't really like. So I actually have another save in which I didn't reload the game, and so Finland made an agreement with the Soviet Union, as it should be. And I will probably reload that save when we go for the Poland, or better, the Slavic Union versus Germany versus the Axis. Because it's also more likely to be the same as it will be in your run. This should really not happen. Okay, guys, so this is the end of the run, but let's see what happens now. So let's give a look at our factories. I think we actually already got the factories. No, maybe not. Let's see. 250, say, and oh no, manpower is very low, only 52,000. Let's see what happens in a couple of days. Okay, I think we solved our manpower issues with 4 million manpower and almost 300 factories. So this is pretty good. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this guide. For me, Poland was a blast. I mean, can you remember just a few years ago us having no stability, no war support, no manpower, no factories, and now we are a better and improved Soviet Union. And every single thing in here is our core. That's absolutely insane. And everything in, let's see, maybe not Poland and not Romania, but Bulgaria. See, Bulgaria is our core. And everything in here is also our core. So that's all of the Slavic countries, of course, since we are the Slavic Union, are our cores. Naturally, make sure not to miss the next episode in which we will face the German Reich, and it will be a challenge because Germany is stronger than the Soviet Union. I hope you enjoyed the run. If you have any suggestions on how to further improve it, please let me know. Then I will show you in a separate video how to take care of Danzig alternatively, if you want to take it aggressively and not peacefully. Guys, you know that I put a lot of effort into these country guides. They require so many test runs. It's a lot of time. So if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and also let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Even just thank you for the guide, because it really helps the algorithm. It's not... well, it's a bit for me personally, but it's mostly because it helps the algorithm, and it will boost the video a little bit more. As you know, if the channel grows faster, then I will be able to make... more content, dedicate more time to it, so it will be beneficial for you too in the end. Guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.